Let's face it, guys. At a time when most smartphones look and feel the same, our inner geek is always in need of something new, something we could seriously call cool. Oppo is one of the few companies that has realized this with its offerings, and today we get a chance to review its most unique offering yet. I'm Jaime Rivera with Pocketnow, here with our full review of the Oppo N3. I know. We're very late to this review, folks, but this is one of those devices we were simply not going to leave without a full Pocketnow treatment. The best way to describe the Oppo N3 in a word is calling it unique. At a time when smartphone designs are just flat slabs with very predictable specifications and characteristics, the Oppo N3 is anything but conventional. No matter where I go, people are always asking me, what is it? And every time that I show them what it can do, I only get more questions actually. For starters, this is a very commanding device at 162mm in height, 77mm in width, and 8.7mm in thickness. Its 192 grams in weight are clearly noticeable whether you're trying to fit it in your pocket or holding it for everyday use. Still, its white polycarbonate finish and aircraft quality aluminum alloy frame give it a very substantial and premium feel. Under the hood, we have a 2.5 GHz Snapdragon 801 processor backed by an Adreno 330 GPU, 2 gigs of RAM, and 32 gigs of storage with microSD expansion up to 128 gigs. One of the coolest tricks of this phone is that microSD slot also doubles as another SIM tray if you'd rather carry one phone instead of two. Another cool addition to this phone is that even though its 3000 mAh battery is non-removable, Oppo's VOOC Rapid Charger will get you from 0 to 75% in a cool 30 minutes, something we've actually proven to be reliable, by the way. Laying on top of all these internals is a 5.5-inch 1080p IPS LCD with around 403 pixels per inch protected by Gorilla Glass 3. The display is fully accessible to the user thanks to the capacitive hardware buttons at the bottom that light up when in use. The color reproduction of this display is on par with most IPS panels, with bright colors and great viewing angles, but after using the AMOLED panel of the Oppo R5, I must say I would have preferred the hardware selection to be AMOLED for its deep contrast. Other nice tricks like the touch-based fingerprint scanner at the back also make some nice additions. The button doubles as a power button when needed, and it even serves as a slider control for the rotating camera that we'll talk about in a bit. Match this with the skyline notification light at the bottom and the very loud speaker placed below, and there's just no way to claim that this is an average phone. Now, a device this cool requires a cool software package to power it, and that's probably where we're mixed with the Oppo N3. The device runs ColorOS 2.0.1i on top of Android 4.4.4 KitKat, where you'll notice that the app tray disappears in favor of endless home screens for apps and widgets. The UI is probably a little too skeuomorphic for a device with such a futuristic appeal externally, but the bevy of software options for theme enhancements, transition changes, and dedicated home screen options help compensate for that. Oppo also includes a bevy of its own applications for things like the calendar, sound recording, and even software backup, which did prove to be quite useful and not added bloat. The company's proprietary font and icon packs give most of the user interface a very elegant touch as well, but I'm sure most of you would have preferred this device, or a device with this design, to be running stock Android. Sadly, our biggest complaints with the software have a lot to do with the user experience. Take the camera, for example. On the positive front, the biggest selling point for this device was its 16-megapixel smart motorized camera, and hardware-wise, it delivered for the most part. We have a Snyder Cruise Notch lens with f2.2 aperture over the 16-megapixel sensor, and Oppo even goes to great lengths in bundling the O-Click remote control to help you rotate the camera, take photos from a distance, or even track your device when needed. This is seriously the perfect selfie camera if you think of it, and it's also a cool candid camera since you don't really have to point the device to where you're pointing the lens, something that's really cool. You can even take panoramas without moving your hand since the motor does the work for you. Sadly, even though Oppo does bundle one of the most complete list of shooting modes we've ever seen on a smartphone, the resulting photos are just okay. I noticed that normal mode did a better job with color and contrast when compared to HDR, which would overexpose shots every single time. Now, my biggest disappointment was using this as a selfie camera, since even though it does use the same camera, the software switches everything to selfie mode and strips all the back camera modes off of it. You can't take selfies with HDR, for example. The beautifying modes are overbearing, and the backdrops were always overexposed so you couldn't really see them. Again, all things that I feel could be fixed with better software. My experience recording video in 1080p was actually better than my experience taking photos, but I feel the software should take more advantage of the smart motorized lens, since it doesn't seem to rotate with the buttons or with the O-click, and you just had to do it manually. Other than that, using this phone was great for everything else. Phone calls were good over the earpiece or speaker, and data speeds were also awesome even when using this device with 2 SIM cards. Since this device supports Wi-Fi 802.11ac and Bluetooth 4.0, it also did a good job at retaining connectivity as well. Playing games with this device was also great. The processor handles graphics well, and the placement of the speaker allows sound to not be muffled, no matter how you're holding it. In my experience, gameplay didn't really affect the battery life in my tests, nor in day-to-day use, but if your mileage does vary, there's always the Boot Rapid Charger to fix that. Overall, I'm just as satisfied as I am disappointed with the Oppo N3. I really want to love this phone because when it comes to hardware, it's everything that I want. I really wanted to make this my daily driver. We've got a very elegant and innovative design matched with unique tricks that you simply won't find in any other smartphone. I just wish that the software was on par with the rest of the user experience. This phone is seriously one of the best ideas that I've seen in years, and if Oppo would make its Lollipop upgrade deal with the opportunities that aren't addressed with the software, I would highly recommend anybody to buy this device. For more coverage on the Oppo N3, Oppo R5, and every other hot smartphone in the market, make sure you follow us on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, and you can follow me on Twitter, Jaime_Rivera. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like what you saw. I am Jaime Rivera. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.